everyone, Jacob Randall here, branch manager for Heitek Utah. Just want to give you a quick live tour of what we got going on for our open house today. So over here we have the Rittal truck. Coming inside we have Weidmuller here to our right. So we'll come talk to you guys in just a second about your product. Walking through the building here. In this far room we have Siemens. They have all their controls walls showing their different product groups that we'll dive into here. Going out into our warehouse. Here we have a variety of vendors, PIAB, showing their suction gripper. We have an Epson robot in our Heitek cage. Right next to that is Epson themselves with their Epson booth. Come over to AFAG, custom feeder bowl and actuator applications. And then over to Murrelektronik and Schmersal, represented by Nate Crosby at ACE. Coming over to our Heitek Value Add, we have Betatron, Matt with our group, and 80/20. Some of the value we provide. Some of our engineers playing with Epsons, Festo grippers, custom vibe bowls. Now we'll go over to the Festo room and over here to our smaller conference room where we have Festo, showing all the great product that Festo has and a wide product offering. And that's what we've got going on here at Heitek Utah. So we look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks. All right, here we are at the Weidmuller booth. I'll give the time over to Larry to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Larry Lewis. Welcome to Weidmuller, and we actually are your connectivity partners, everything wired and unwired. We do most of the things inside the cabinet that connects around the PLC, everything from power supplies, Ethernet switches, and Wi-Fi gates and all that, down to terminal blocks. We do a lot in the tools that help you build your cabinets. Everything we do is kind of a solution to speed your installation and give you the best products, everything inside the cabinet.
Awesome. And with Larry is Deborah. Let her introduce herself.
Deborah, I'm the distribution manager for this territory, and I work closely with Heitek, providing all of our parts to our customers.
Hi, we're over here at the PIAB booth with Charles Ramirez. So I'll let him introduce PIAB and tell you guys what it's about.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. I'm happy to introduce PIAB. We are the world's #1 innovator of vacuum generators and suction cups. We offer tens of thousands of different types of suction cups and the world's most efficient vacuum generator. Our 3-stage coax cartridge will allow you to generate the most vacuum flow for the least amount of compressed air on the inlet side. We also offer all-in-one inclusive Pi Compact generators. We offer our Pi Soft Grip 3-finger vacuum gripper that has great place for many types of applications. And in here you would see our Kinos products, which is our foam grippers that are designed to pick a variety of different types of shapes of products and weight capacities in one vacuum gripper. So give us a call and look us up on PIAB.com. We look forward to working with you.
All right, we're over here at the AFAG booth with Sean McBride. I'll turn the time over to you, Sean, to tell them a little bit about AFAG.
Thanks very much, Jacob. Appreciate that. Well, the AFAG brand consists of 4 major product groups throughout the assembly and automation industry. And first and foremost, what we're highlighting today is our feeding technology. Of course, these are the travel size demonstrations, but again, our feeders are significantly different than what you would see in the North American market, comprised of patent-filled drives and, of course, the polyamide bowls, which are milled to the customer specification. It gives us much better feeding, much quieter feeding, and much more reliable feeding throughout. Beyond our feeding technology, today we were able to talk about our linear transfer systems, our pick-and-place systems, and of course our linear transfer module. So I would love to show you some literature, but I got to tell you, this show was so great. I'm all out of literature already, and so this has just been a phenomenal show for us, and I'm so grateful to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. All right, here with Nate Crosby, represents Murr and Schmersal. I'll give the time over to him to talk about his products.
Hey, Nate Crosby here with Advanced Control Equipment. We're the manufacturer's representatives for both Murrelektronik and Schmersal. We have the opportunity to come to the Heitek Open House today and to kind of talk about our products and introduce the customer base to Murrelektronik and Schmersal. Murrelektronik is an industry leader in the manufacturing of connectivity components, distributed I/O, and in-panel control components. So here I've got our bulkhead connectors. We have a wide array available out of Atlanta, Georgia. So these are things that are readily available to ship in most configurations. We offer everything from M8 connectors, from field bus connectors, to MQ15 7/8 power, as well as our network connectivity. Murrelektronik also offers a wide array of Ethernet switches from managed to unmanaged. This right here is our Xentera product line. The idea behind the Xentera product line is it provides a really slim profile to be able to mount in a control panel in challenging locations, or especially in retrofit packages. No Murrelektronik conversation would be complete without discussing connectivity. Murrelektronik is one of the largest global suppliers for connectivity in the world. So everything from our mobile hydraulic spec, which is WeatherPack and Deutsch connectors. Our Deutsch connectors feature an epoxy and an overmold, so extremely robust. We offer network connectivity pieces from RJ45 to decoded M12. A lot of our components you can find directly out of stock, M8 and M12 connectors, not network based. We can have available in 3 to 5 business days, which is really pretty strong out of the US. We offer a hybrid block that's going to be for network and power distribution for Cognex cameras, as well as network connectivity blocks. This is our new Impact Pro piece. The Impact Pro has 8 IO-Link masters capable of both A and B IO-Link devices, as well as heavy-duty outputs for basically for your outputs, actuators, and lights. We utilize M12 power. That's where we get our robust supply from, and these are still pretty well available when you take a look at the overall market right now. So really an exciting new product. We are also the Schmersal distributor, we're the Schmersal representative. The distribution is Jake's job here. So this Heitek cell over here, can I get you to swing around? So that is our beautiful Heitek cell with our Epson robot in there. This is available through Heitek Automation. They are a premier stocking distributor of Heitek components. Fantastic lead times out of Arizona. The Heitek team can work with you to design a custom build and be able to get components up here, in really a few business days, which those lead times are excellent in this climate. Schmersal is a premier industry provider of safety components, so everything from our solenoid interlocking devices to our light curtain products. One of the cool features of our SLC 440 light curtain products is, let me pull it up here, we offer Bluetooth connectivity. So with the Bluetooth connectivity, you can see that the light curtain is beginning to connect with the flickering of the blue light. And now I'm able to pull up a GUI on my phone that will give me accurate indication of the position of the item breaking the beam, as well as my level of alignment with these 3 different stars here that tells me how well the receiver is seeing the light beams. And then you'll notice also with the light curtain products, the LED diagnostics is really a key through all of the Schmersal components. Obviously, one of the reasons is for your maintenance teams being able to identify quickly, what the potential issue is with the machine or a potential safety switch that is tripped. Being able to identify those things quickly is extremely important in saving your production facility from downtime. And then with the rest of the Schmersal switches, we offer solenoid interlock devices. The lead time on our original AZM 161 and AZM 15 lead times, product lead times are pretty good. With the electronic solenoid switches, Again, some really in-class leading technologies, LED diagnostics, RFID recognition devices for determining the correct switches with the correct actuator, and really that's about it. So thank you for the opportunity, Heitek, and that's all I've got.
All right, we're here at the Betatron booth with Matt. Betatron is a division of Heitek, so I'll turn the time over to him to explain a little bit about what they do.
So hi, I'm Matt with Betatron, and basically what we offer is contract manufacturing. The contract manufacturing is anywhere from custom cables to custom circuit boards to a complete turnkey solution with incorporated with a circuit board, a cable, and a box. So we can basically offer a solution that basically goes direct to market. And some of the features that we have as far as some of the certifications is going to be ITAR. So that basically gives us the capability of handling classified government projects. And then we're also ISO 9000 certified. Basically, a lot of the guidelines and requirements that are required for production, manufacturing. And then we also have all of our technicians as far as for assembly. They all are IPC certified with cable assembly or board assembly. So any projects you have that require any kind of manufacturing, we'd love to basically have an opportunity to take care of you.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're over here with the Heitek Automation Value Add booth, Caleb Johnson out of our Arizona location, and I'll give the time over to him to show you what we can do with the 8020.
Thanks, Jake. Hi, so I'm Caleb. I deal mostly with the 8020 and a couple other mechanical sections in our line card. 8020 is a modular aluminum extrusion that has anything from a metric and a fractional system. We also have a machine shop in Arizona. We also have stock in Arizona, so anything you want quick turnaround, we're able to do that as well. Over here to the right is Tate, so they're a clean room, modular office, semiconductor data company. They've been around since the 60s.
All right, we're over here with our application engineer here in Utah, Chris Keller, and he's going to go through one of our value add booths using some of our Epson robots and Festo grippers. So I'll turn the time over to you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a Epson T3 robot. What's cool about this robot is it actually has the controller built in. Utilizing Epson's vision here, we have a known relationship between the robot and the camera. That makes for very easy setup as opposed to using a third party and having to align robot plane versus camera plane. Because that setup's so easy, it takes about 15-20 minutes. You train a pattern here. I'll show you kind of how it works. You hit the green button here. It'll find that pattern. It sends an X, Y, and a theta to the robot. The robot goes down and grips it, sets it on this little conveyor, and voila, you got yourself a little thumb drive. So that's kind of a high-level overview. I'd love to give you some more detail, so stop by Heitek in Salt Lake City.
All right, we're here at the Epson booth with Mark and Casey. I'll turn the time over to these guys to explain a little bit more about Epson.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Mark Martinez. I'm the Western Area Sales Manager with Epson Robots. We're excited to have Heitek as our new partner. They joined with us back in November, and we're demonstrating some of our robots here as the all-in-one VT6L. And I'll throw it over to Casey.
Hi, Casey Fortenberry, National Sales Manager for Epson Robots. This was a great event today, great turnout. We've really had a good time just displaying product, talking about robots. This is in our DNA, so you guys are missing. This was absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So, here you go.
All right. So we thank you for the opportunity to join you on your second annual open house and look forward to big things for next year. Thank you.
All right, we're here at the Rittal van with Steve and Kirk. I'll go ahead and give the time over to these guys to walk you through the van and show you what they got.
Hey, thanks so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yep. So inside the van here we have basically a rolling product showroom. I always tell customers there's 3 primary buckets that we talk about. On the back wall are all of our different wall mounts: carbon steel, stainless steel, 304, 316 stainless, slope tops, polycarbonate enclosures. So in every shape and form and material type is wall mounts. Then I always move customers and talk about our modular enclosure designs. And modular enclosures are different than unibody enclosures in the sense that they're a frame-based system. If you were to look at this frame from the top down, it actually has 16 90-degree folds in it, and every time you fold steel, as you may know, it gets it adds strength to that product. So 16 folds in here plus 2 fully boxed sections, extremely strong and light. And then the third main bucket of product that we talk about is our climate control products. We have air conditioners, we have air-to-water heat exchangers, air-to-air heat exchangers, of course filter fans for passive cooling, a full line of heaters and thermostats, as well as chillers for industrial applications as well. Cool little product here, or not little product, but this is actually a VFD driven air conditioner, so it runs at a constant speed and only runs as hard as it needs to run. So so basically walk customers through the whole thing here. There's 2 other small groups. We do have a full line of HMI customizable, 100% customizable, as well as in the last cabinet here we have bus bar systems. So anywhere from 200 amp systems up to 3200 amp systems in every shape and size. So there, gave a 3-day tour in about a minute and a half, right?
Yeah. Anyone who's interested, Vans on Wheels, so we can come to you and show you what we got.
We'd love to do it.
All right, well, over here in the Festo room, I'm here with Memo, our Festo rep. I'm going to give the time over to him to walk through what Festo has to offer.
Thank you, Jacob. So, my name is Memo Roscoe. I've been with Festo for 14 years, kind of showing you that Festo offers a large variety of automation products. We're at 34,000 products now. We cover everything from pneumatics, as you can see here, from slides and actuators all the way through to valves. We do also in the process automation world. You can see various different sizes. We go into the electromechanical world as well with some electric motors and actuators. We go over here into variations of different slides. We go into API, which is our I/O blocks for remote I/O and such, and air preps. So we cover the full swath of automation components. We kind of figure 80% of the market we cover, and then there's the 20% that's specialty stuff that we leave to the people that have already invented that wheel. So for the most part, you need anything automation, Festo has your solution.
All right, we're here with Mark Berger, Siemens Automation, to go through the control circuit solutions and power circuit solution walls. Turn the time over to him.
My name is Mark Berger. I'm with Siemens. What you have here behind me is all the circuit protection and controls wall. So what you have here is that you start with standard circuit breaker types applications where you need power distribution. You have over here, you have power monitoring. Here you're going to distribute different types of power for 24 volts. You have control power transformers. Then you have over here, you have your standard wired push buttons, 22 millimeter, 30 millimeter. Then with applications of this style here that you want to minimize any type of wiring, then you go into the Profinet solution. So you can see the difference in how much wiring that it takes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons. Look how big the cabling is. If I go with Profinet, all I have is 24 volts and an Ethernet cable for that. This is your innovation for Profinet push buttons. The next innovation is motor management. Turning it on and off. You have safety with it. This will monitor all your currents, your voltages. This will tell you how many times the motor's turned on and off, how many times it's tripped. It'll also give you power quality if it's lost of phase, phase imbalance. Any of this wall here is solely for motor management or for motor control. So now you see here where we're trying to power distribution, what we call a feed system. You bring in the power here, it feeds it behind in the back, it drops into all these. Then with this you have IO-Link. So with IO-Link you're able to control multiple motors, but with 3 wires. So we're reducing our wiring and our paneling, but then increasing the availability and increasing technology. Also, changing form factors. When you go here, you have your MSP, which is this guy here, built in. Then you have your overload and your contactor. MSP, contactor, overload, and that's all into one form factor. This can go up to 100 amps, and I can power wiring here, going across to 100 amps, and wire all in IO-Link with this being able to stop and start, talking 3 wire, so you're reducing wire and increasing availability. Next, power distribution. I'm able to put power distribution to a panel, but then also communicate how much power that's pulling, have it displayed, have it put into some type of historian so they know how much power that motor's pulling or that cabinet's pulling, and then that is able to give you your cost of operations and so forth from that. PLCs, here we're taking a different form factor from here to this guy. This is your ET200 MSP motors. These are individual motors with safety. You're able to hot swappable. You're able to black and tag out. And the form factor is exactly the same for a direct starter or reversing starter. And it's the same form factor for non-safe and safe. Then you have soft starts. As a motor, you have 3 ways of starting. Cross the line, push button, start, soft start, and then your VFDs you'll see in a minute. Here, this can communicate to any communication protocol that you need. This can do Profinet, Ethernet IP, Modbus TCP, Profibus, Ethernet Profibus, and Modbus RTU. Then you step over here, you have all your power monitoring systems for trend, voltage, current, temperature. You have over here a 24-volt power monitor that you can bring back to your PLC, so that if something draws, it takes away the power, your PLC can stop the machine and step away from it. Then you have all your interaction relays, what we call interposing relays or conversion signals. This guy here can convert 4 to 20 milliamp, 0 to 20 milliamp, 0 to 10 volts. These are all your different conversion relays. Then your standardized cube relays. And then you have some of your other relays, like for this one's for temperature, this one's for voltage, this one here is for push button type relays. And then you have your solid state relays. I think one of them stops and starts here, if I remember right. Yeah, there we go. So you can see them turning on. These are solid state relays for like heaters or some type of high inrush current. These is your safety relays. So if you have a safety system, and you have a safety like a robot, and you have to all your push button stations, e-stops, so forth and so on, that you have safety relay, safety monitoring with your robots, you're able to bring that into play. So control circuit protection also works with other manufacturers. So you can see you have a Rockwell PLC controlling a Siemens motor management system, and then also interacting with our I/O systems. Because of the multi-field bus, it communicates with Rockwell, Modbus TCP, and a Profinet with that.
All right, we're over here with the Eli. He's the RTLS pre-sales consultant for Siemens, and I'm going to give the time over to him to walk through his wall.
Absolutely. So this is parts of the industrial identification portfolio for Siemens. So we're showing 2 main pieces here. We're showing the RTLS infrastructure, which is what you guys see on the screen. RTLS stands for Real-Time Locating System. It tracks any asset that you can attach our transponders to. So we have our e-paper transponder, like what I'm wearing here. The e-paper transponder has a configurable display that can be updated with things like barcodes, QR codes, show the battery life, batch numbers, material numbers, things like that. This screen can also change based on the location of the asset. So maybe as you enter a geofence, you want to show one thing on the badge. As it leaves the asset, you want to show something else. Also has a few inputs. So this one that I'm wearing has one push button that can be configurable for any action to happen whenever you press it in your system. Then we have another that I don't have here that has 2 inputs and 2 LEDs. Then we also have our smaller tag, this is our asset tag, which has interchangeable batteries. So small CR123 batteries that you can buy at the store go in here. And the battery life is typically somewhere between 6 months to 2 years, depending on how often you update your system or how often you want to get a location. So what you guys are seeing here is our location intelligence software. This is our visualization platform. Again, allows you to do things like geofencing, see the path of the transponders, heat maps, things like that. The other thing that we have here is our RFID portfolio. So we have a couple scanners here. This is just a fraction of what we offer for RFID. We have several different scanners. So we have the 380R, the 240R, which is our smallest reader, and then a few examples of our tags. So you can use Siemens tags or third-party tags that can be read and written to by our RFID technology. And that's what we have here. That's our industrial identification wall.
All right, we're here with Laurent. He's our IT/OT network consultant with Siemens. I'm going to give the time over to him to walk through some of his technology.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So here on this display here, we'd like to show some of the Siemens networking products and representing a bit of a plant network as well. So at the very top here, we start with our security appliance. Security is of utmost importance, and any kind of connectivity that you have between your equipment here should be well secured. So we have a couple different connectivity options, whether that is going to be fiber or copper RJ45 ports. We have those to be able to connect to them. If you've ever run into Ethernet cables that have a broken plastic clip, please use some metal ones. We do have that to make sure that you have right rugged environment equipment. We have now a couple different form factors as well too for some of our networking products. The standard 19-inch rack for IT style equipment is available within our products. We also have waterproof switches as well too, so this is going to be fully immersion proof. And we even have the option of having our connectivity here with a display that actually shows you the link status and activities ongoing there. Troubleshooting the system's a lot easier when you can actually see what's going on. We also have, as a backup here to this entire wall, a cellular connectivity to the option. So this is actually running on AT&T or Verizon as a cell network. And so in case the standard internet that you're using at the plant goes down, we can obviously offload with the cellular connection. At the very bottom here, we're showing a small scale of an automation system here. So we have actually leveraging our Wi-Fi technologies and specifically our RCoax implementation here to showcase a moving AGV that can actually be communicated with at all times. We can even run safety over these systems as well too. Thank you very much.
All right, we're here with Greg, the power sales consultant. So I'm going to give the time over to him to kind of walk through some of his product.
All right, thank you very much. So I wanted to show you our power security demo, and these are all of our C-top products, but also has some of the other products that Siemens has to offer, including our S7 1500 controller, scaling switch, as well as our ET200 SP IO. But what this guy does is it simulates not only what the power supplies do, but also our UPS performances, as well as our selectivity module, which is basically an electronic circuit breaker. So our newest power supply line we call the C-top PSU 6200 supply. You'll notice that there are these two white ports coming out. And these two white ports are a diagnostics interface, and basically it's a serial output, digital output signal that's going into the I/O block. So you see the flashing LEDs. And with this information, with the function block programmed to the PLC and of course the faceplates, you can actually get more diagnostics out of the standard power supply. So in the case here, these two power supplies each have their own visualization, and right now you see that they're drawing 2 amps and 3 amps respectively, as well as the output voltage measurements are about 23.8 volts equally. And also, you can go a step further for each power supply and actually see what's going on with the state, operating hours counter, it's the state of the dip switches, loading factors, but also just it's really good information that for a standard power supply offering out there that nobody else has. Also, you'll see that in between these two power supplies is what we call a redundancy module. So I can go back and show you real quick on this screen here. Basically, this is to provide redundancy of the two inputs. So basically, you have your 24 volts stable. In case one of the power supplies fail, the redundancy module will kick in and seamlessly take over. So you'll notice now that power supply 1 has gone down, power supply 2 is still on, and we're still operating all the LEDs right below the redundancy module. As far as like the selectivity module goes, this is an alternative to circuit breakers for your electronic fault protection for 24 volt DC power. So this is just to simulate some short circuits. You'll notice that instantly they all turn off and there's no impact between the different channels. So we have 8 output channels available, and each one of these guys is adjustable between 2 to 10 amps. So basically when that current exceeds that threshold, it'll instantly turn on. So that's the short circuit test, and I also have right behind a load box. I'm going to crank this up to go above the threshold limit for output number 5. You see it's starting to blink to let you know you're going to overload, and then it turns off. So it's very smart, and also just like the power supply, it has that diagnostics interface port. There's also a function block and faceplate available, so you can actually see the status of the selectivity module as well. And a really good feature of this module that a lot of customers like is the remote reset functionality. So there's an RSD right there, stands for reset. So you don't have to open up the panel door anymore. You can go to the HMI screen or wire a push button if you want on the door and do a reset remotely. So all the channels are turned back on. They're all green. And if you want to isolate, of course, just push the button and it turns orange. Then last but not least, if we need to do some backup, we have a UPS module. So basically the power supplies are feeding this UPS module. This is conditioning the battery. This right next to it, it's a 24 volt battery. before it provides output to the selectivity module and all the different loads. So I'm going to flip the input breaker, see what happens here. Actually, let me change to this first too. Cut off the input, and now we're in backup mode, so you see the input voltage is going to 0, but our output is still stabilized at 24 volts. You see our battery is about 95% charged and it's starting to dip a little bit, but that UPS module is stabilizing that output to be still about 24 volts to the loads. Then of course we have power come back on. It recognizes that, it goes back to green, and everything is back to normal. So we have seamless transition for case of faults. But yeah, that's our power security demo, so hopefully that gives a little bit of insight what we do other than power supplies. It's a full-blown power security solution that we offer at Siemens, so hopefully this was good information for you.
All right, we're here with Steve Schoniger, our motion specialist with Siemens. I'm going to give the time over to him to walk through his wall and show us some technology.
Thanks a lot, Jacob. So what we have in front of you here today is a material handling wall. This wall specifically addresses most of the material handling applications that Siemens has products that we offer for. In this case, we have an S7-1500 PLC with remote I/O, high-end motion control drive and motion controller. In this case, we have a field-mountable drive. This is a modular drive, meaning that the silver piece is the control unit. The dark gray piece is a power conversion section. The reason these become separate is because we can utilize different types of control modules to control this power module. The power module is 90% of the failures in the field will always be in one of these. Very quick to get one drive that goes down, up and running again in the field. Quick disconnects. These go up to 10 horsepower. There's no moving parts, as you can see, no fans. This particular one is actually driving, in this case, it's driving a gear motor behind the wall that's running this conveyor. We have a modular G120 drive. This drive is designed to be mounted inside a cabinet, whereas again, this drive would be mounted out on the frame of the conveyor. Same basic internals. We have a separate control unit, and we have a power module. In this case down here, we have another drive, which is, again, modular, same basic componentry inside, but this one is designed to mount directly to the gear motor, so it's an integral part of it. Again, service disconnect on the side, power cable in, and we can also daisy chain and come power back out the other side. So we can daisy chain multiples of these together. We program this guy with a handheld, so it utilizes the same screen as this has. These particular screens can have up to 254 different configurations on them, so you can configure multiple different drives out in the field with this one keypad. This one happens to connect via there's a USB port, or there's also a infrared port on the drive itself. We can also plug in a serial port cable and remove the keypads and go directly to this. So now this becomes handheld, and we can do programming without having to actually open the cabinet door. And that's what we have here today.
All right, we're here with Ryan Mischin, Siemens Sales Account Manager, and he's going to take us through the factory automation walls and give us a quick overview of what they have as far as technology.
Great. Thanks, Jake.
No problem.
So here we're in the age of TIA Portal. TIA Portal is Siemens' unified programming environment that programs PLC, I/O, HMI, and drives in the same package. We've been on this type of platform since about the early 2010s, and it scales up from our very smallest little micro PLC up to the 1500. Here we're kind of showing a little bit of a kind of a broad PLC architecture. We have an IPC here running a 1500S software PLC there. We have, in contrast, basically our hardware or firmware-based S7 1500. Very similar horsepowers between the two of them, very similar programming structures. Here we're showing a little bit of outside the cabinet IP67, so direct machine mount I/O. It's becoming more of a popular strategy, not having I/O inside the cabinet and basically putting I/O kind of on demand wherever you need to on the machine. that kind of reduces on cabling, reduces on kind of long home runs of different sensor cables, and just putting I/O distributed on the machine wherever you need. And then finally here we have a G120. This is one of our general purpose drives in the Synamics family. Again, all programmed in TIA Portal. And the beauty of it being programmed in the same architecture is that we have a unified diagnostic concept. Basically up top, we're showing some green check boxes. We can basically have drive errors, I/O errors, HMI errors, all filtered up through the same system up to a common diagnostic buffer. One of the beauties of TIA Portal and this common engineering environment. So moving on down the line here, we have, this is our controller wall. So this is really PLC centric, scalable from one of our smaller level PLCs. This is called the S7-1200. We do have it in a standard. We're showing a safety rated version of it here. With Siemens, everything yellow kind of means safety, fail safe. You can hook e-stops directly into the safety controller. Also powerful with the S7-1200, you can hang distributed I/O or drives off of it. Pretty unique for something that small in the automation grand scheme of it. Next up, we have the more upper level controller, the S7-1500. This is an S7-1500C. It has some local I/O that's kind of built into the controller, so we call that our compact unit. We also have standalone S7-1500s. Really cool looking display on it. So, you can browse to some of the old error messages. You can see what the firmware of the PLC is, what the IP address was. Really good insight into the PLC itself. A slightly different form factor here in the ET200SP. That's our I/O platform. This is an S7-1500, S7-1510 in the SP form factor, so it's really a distributed I/O form factor of an S7-1500. So you can actually put these little SP I/O modules in that same rack. Just kind of a different strategy on having much more of a local rack versus a distributed rack with the SP form factor. And then we're showing a comfort panel here. This is more of our high power HMI line. Been around for several years now. If you notice down here, we're showing the identical screens with a more of a mobile HMI. So you could actually pick this up, move around the machine. Coincidentally, this one is also safety rated, so this is an e-stop tethered over a Profinet e-stop over Profinet cable. And then here, all the stuff is controlling one of these G120 drives that we saw on the last wall. So very controller-centric on this one, from the kind of the lower level, mid-level, I would say, S7-1200 to the 1500. And then moving all the way down, this is our visualization wall. So visualization, HMI kind of go hand in hand, very interchangeable. Here at the top level, we're showing really more of our low end, lower performance, kind of more cost-effective basic panel. You'll see that the graphics are, kind of more basic. You'll see some I/O fields there, kind of on-off, just like very basic things as it sounds, denotated by the KTP. The newer, more performant HMI panels that were released a couple years ago, now getting more and more run rate, are the unified comfort panels. We refer to these as the unifieds. So MTP unifieds. You'll notice the graphics on them are much more pepped up. You can run Windows Media Player. You can pull up PDFs on there. Much more of like an edge device. If you compare this to the more legacy comfort panels. So unifieds are the brand new HMI on the block. And then here we're showing industrial flat panel, so IFP 1500. It's a 15-inch, more of an industrial PC display. So this is projecting the operating system that's being showed on this microbox IPC 427E. So this is where the operating system sits, and this flat panel is showing what's going on there. And then finally, we'll have a slightly bigger version of that mobile panel. This one is also safety rated, where you see the little yellow safety button. So it's just another way of kind of visualizing your machine and controlling the whole process. So yeah, that's the HMI wall.